Hello everyone, today we are going to be solving quadratics by factoring, okay? And something to keep in mind when we're solving quadratics, these words that we see here, solutions, roots, x-intercepts, zeros, they really all mean the same thing when we are solving quadratics. So know these words, okay? If I ask you for roots, I'm just asking you to solve the quadratic. If I ask you for the solutions, I'm just asking you to solve. If I ask you for the x-intercepts, I'm just asking you to solve it. Or if I ask you for zeros, I am just asking you to solve this thing. Okay, so know those words and know that those all mean the same thing, and they're asking you to solve a quadratic equation. So today we are going to focus on solving by factoring. There are several methods that we'll be looking at throughout this unit. Factoring is the first one because it is the exact same thing as what we just did in the previous unit. So if I want to solve a quadratic by factoring, first thing I'm going to do is set the function equal to 0. Okay, so whatever the function is, I want it on one side of an equation, I want 0 on the other side. And then I'm going to factor as much as I can, and then set each factor equal to 0 and solve. And that's it. So here's our first example here. We're going to take this function and we are going to set it equal to 0. So I have x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. And what I need to do is I need to factor. So I need to find factors of negative 12 that add to make 4. So we've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. I am able to make a negative 4 with these. Okay, so my factors are going to be x plus 2 and x minus 6. It's still equal to 0. And we are going to take each of those factors and set them equal to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0, and x minus 6 is equal to 0. So one of my solutions is going to be x is equal to negative 2, and the other one is going to be x is equal to 6. And that's it. That would be the solutions of this thing. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to take this function, set it equal to 0, so 3x squared plus 18x is equal to 0, okay? So when I'm trying to factor, remember we always look for that common factor. Both of these things can be divided by 3, and they both have an x. Okay, when I pull that out, I am left with, right here, I'm left with just an x. And then over here, we're going to have positive 6, okay? And this thing is still equal to 0. So now this thing is completely factored. I don't have to factor anymore. So I'm going to set 3x equal to 0 and x plus 6 equal to 0. So now solve each of those equations. This one is just x equals 0. And then this one will be x is equal to negative 6. And those are the solutions of this thing. Okay, here's another one. So we want to have 0 on one side of our equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract this thing to that side, and that's going to create this equation, 4x squared minus 25 is equal to 0, okay? So we don't have a common factor, but notice that this is a difference of squares. So this one is going to break apart as 2x and 2x. This factor will break apart as 5 and 5. This one must be a negative. So my factors are 2x minus 5 and 2x plus 5. Okay, so now we just set each of those factors equal to 0. So on this first one, I'm going to add 5 to the other side, and that gives me 2x is equal to 5. And then we're going to divide by 2, and we get x is 5 halves. The other one, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, so that'll give me 2x is -5, and again, divide by 2, so x is -5 halves. And those are the solutions for this one. Okay, here's another one. Again, we want everything on one side and we want to have 0 on the other side. So these things are going to get moved to that side, and that's going to create this equation, 18x squared minus 48x plus 32, and that's all equal to 0 now because I moved everything from that side. Okay, so now, first thing we're going to ask, is there a common factor? Okay, so all of these things can be divided by 2. So we're going to pull a 2 out of this thing, and that leaves us with 9x squared minus 24x plus 16. Okay, still equal to 0. So now what we need to do is we need to multiply 9 and 16 together. Okay, so 9 times 16 is going to be 144. And we need factors of 144 that add to make -24. Okay, so I can't, nope, 3 and 48. Okay, 4 is going to divide it 36 times. 5 is not a factor, but 24 is, so 6 and 24, all right? 7 is not a factor. 8 and 18 are factors. Um, 9 and 16 are factors. 10 and 11 are not factors, but 12 and 12 are also factors. Okay, so actually I can make -24 with those. Okay, so let's use the area model here. So if I draw a rectangle, and I have 9x squared here, -12x, -12x, and 16. And then my common factors are 3x minus 4 and 3x minus 4. So my factors are going to be 2, 3x minus 4, and 3x minus 4 equal to 0, and I'm going to set all of these factors equal to 0. Okay, so this first one, that doesn't give me anything because there's not an x, so that's not a solution. The second one, we're going to add 4 to both sides, so that's 3x is 4, and then divide by 3, and I get x is 4/3. Same thing here, 3x is 4, and then x is 4/3. So we really only have one solution, that's x is 4/3. Okay, here's another one. We're going to do the same thing. We want to get everything onto one side. Okay, so we're going to add 54 to both sides, and that will give us 2x squared minus 24x plus 54 is equal to 0. All of these things can be divided by 2, so 2 times x squared minus 12x plus 27 is equal to 0, and we are going to find factors of 27 that add to make negative 12. So I've got 1 and 27, 3 and 9, okay? And I can make negative 12 with these. So my factors will be 2 times x minus 3 and x minus 9 equal to 0. So we're going to take that 2, set it equal to 0, x minus 3 equal to 0, and x minus 9 equal to 0. Remember, this gives us nothing, but here we have x is 3 is one of our solutions, x is equal to 9 is the other solution. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So make sure that you are comfortable factoring. And then pretty much the only thing that's new today is we're taking our factors, we're setting them equal to 0, and we're solving for x, okay? So that's what you should be comfortable doing today. So please go check out the assignment on Canvas. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.